We're going to start a series in English for those of you who have asked me to do some things in English. And we're going to start with the Agadot of the Talmud by Rabbi Avraham, the son of Rambam. This is an introduction to the book Ein Yacob. There's an essay, a very beautiful essay in the beginning of the introduction of the Sefer Ein Yacob in English, which is going to be basis of this video. It's important to understand, says Rabbi Avraham, that the homiletic expositions and stories of Talmud have underlying meanings and are shrouded in secrecy, and most commentators did not even attempt to probe their deep meaning. He says, my father, the Rambam, had in mind writing a commentary of the Aggadot, as mentioned in his commentary on the Mishnah. Yet in the end, he decided against it, as he stated in the beginning of Moreh Nevochim, the Guide of the Perplexed. Applying to himself the passage, Moses was afraid to come close to it. Now, however, my father's death, I decided to write a few explanatory remarks on this subject in the hope that it will be helpful to students of this field. If you follow my guidelines, says Rabbi Avraham, in the understanding of the Agaddic teaching of the sages, you will come to grasp their deep meaning. And as a result, you will not make light of them or deny that they are true. Neither will you fall into the trap of thinking that the miracles that happen to our sages are momentous as those that happened to Moses and Israel at the parting of the Red Sea. Now, as remarkable are the parting of the Jordan for Elisha and Elijah, such misconceptions, says the Rabbi Avraham, such misconceptions arise when you take the Dirash, the homiletic interpretation, literally and accept it only for the surface meaning of the text. But there is an abundant evidence to show that the Agaddic tales and teachings, aside from their plain meaning, have profound hidden significance. My father already made this clear in his book, and I merely want to explain it in great detail by classifying the Aggadot into different categories and citing examples of each category. But first I want to make a few introductory remarks, says Rabbi Avraham. Every theory must be substantiated. And this is where we lack so much in scholarly effort. Even hearing many rabbis of well-known name. To begin with, let me point out that if a person puts forward a certain theory without offering proof, expecting people to accept it at face value just because they respect him, it sadly is mistaken. His approach flies in the face of both Torah and common sense. He goes against common sense because he wants people to believe something without evaluating and investigating whether it squares with the facts. It runs counter to Torah because it goes against the truth and is unethical. The Torah tells us not to curry favor with anyone, saying to a judge, do not give special consideration to the poor, nor show respect to the great. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15. And it says also, do not give anyone special consideration when rendering judgment. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 17. And there is no difference between a person who believes an idea without supporting evidence and one who trusts a person's statement simply because he respects him or holds that it must be true since he comes from a great scholar. This does not prove that the statement is true. And unfortunately, in today's world, a lot of modern-day Judaism is following in lieu of another sister religion that just goes and believes what is said. Accordingly, we are not required to endorse all of those theories of the sages of the Talmud. Let me repeat that again. According to Rabbi Avraham, the son of the Rambam, he says, accordingly, we are not required to endorse all the theories of the sages of the Talmud on medicine, on physics, on astronomy, in every respect, just because we know the authors to be outstanding personalities and eminent scholars in all facets of Torah. Of course, when it comes to Torah knowledge, the scholarship of the sages is unsurpassed, and it is their responsibility to teach it to us. As it says, you must keep the Torah as they interpret it for you. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 11. Now, we're talking about the sages of the Talmud, but this does not necessarily apply to all other branches of knowledge. You can see that even the sages themselves, when faced with an issue, could not be proven by the debate or logical arguments, and said, I swear that even if Yehoshua ben Nun had said it, I would not have obeyed him, which means I would not believe him although he was a prophet, since he cannot prove his point by the Talmudical rules of logical arguments. And yet we have people on Facebook saying, well, you have to believe what it says in the Agaddiv, the Agadots. And they cite them like if it was, literally taken. Rabbi Avraham says and offers one conclusive proof that no one will refute. And it's this. We find the sages themselves said that the opinion expressed in the Gemara with regards to general medicines are not borne out. Like, for instance, when the Gemara says that wearing a preserving stone is a safeguard against miscarriage, or other things mentioned in Tractate Shabbat. They tested these remedies and found them not to have any therapeutical value. And we're going to continue with this series of videos based on the words and teachings of the Rambam's son, Rabbi Avraham. So we understand a little bit of how many people misuse the Agaddic interpretation to suit their theories and ideas and beliefs. Hopefully you'll stay with me on this, and we're going to continue right through this introduction all the way through Ein Yacob, Bezrah Hashem, and Bli Nether in this series. I want you to tune in and be part. The next video, we're going to talk about the dedication to truth. There has to be a dedication and search for truth in all of our endeavors. And when you don't do that, you create these ideas, these lofty ideas of so-and-so's Mashiach. This is Mashiach because it says it here in the Talmud, because the Agaddiv says it and it's proof. No, my friends. Let's look and dig deep. Shalom Aleichem and Shabbat Shalom.